Hello there, everybody. We are here with Craig Blanchett, our awesome and fearless leader, and going to be learning more about how to grow our optimal business to optimal levels. So take it away, Craig.
Thank you. Great work. Great work. So, yes, so tonight that was just kind of a little test to see about somebody being on the spot and doing something that was maybe a little bit scary, but you didn't die. And right, she just worked it out. But we've got some awesome things that we're going to be talking about tonight, and I'm going to initially focus on, or eventually we're going to get to the things that Dr. A and Terry are talking about, because there are some significant things that will make a significant difference, not just in your life, but in the world for reals. And so, but the first steps are, depending on how long you've been coaching, you can go to instead of getting a 1099 in the mail through the Optavia Pay system, you can go and you can download and see what 2018 had in store for you. And there you go. And I'm kind of curious because I'm curious, for those of you that saw that, was it less than you thought about what you predicted, or was it more than you thought? And then kind of just talking a little about the reality, because every single digit that showed up in that box number, whatever, 2 or 3, was a representation of somebody's life changing for the good, to become better. So I'm wondering who wants to come off and just talk a little bit about the reality of that. Amber, it looks like you have yours. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little more than what I had expected. And I had my other W-2 from our other business sitting there. And it was pretty close to what that other W-2 was for the whole year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I don't tell me about, roughly, if you were to say how many hours and approximately that you work that other job, and then how many hours you work your coaching practice, roughly.
Well, before, I mean, I was working my other job 20, 30, 40 hours a week because
Okay.
we're a business owner. We actually own a cleaning company. And the amount of time I spent in my Optavia business was like way less.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way less.
Yeah.
In
It
fact,
is.
I finally, just the last 3 months, about 3 months ago, I said, you know what? I'm going to work my Optavia and my health coaching full time. I will see you guys 1.5 days a week.
Later. Love it. Thank you for that. Dawn, I know you're probably texting your peeps to join us, and that's why they probably keep popping in here. So thank you for that. Actually, I'll let you keep doing that. Casina, I'm curious, have you downloaded it? Do you have are you aware of what it was yet?
I haven't downloaded it yet. I did a rough calculation on my own a few weeks ago, and it definitely blew my mind.
Mhm.
And what's even more mind blowing is the majority of it came from the last 6 months
Yeah,
rather than
it was
the first.
half a
I
year's
mean, it
work.
was,
Half a year's part-time work.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's I was pleasantly surprised as well. Actually, I pulled it down late last night. I mean, it might have been 10:30. I'm working on some tax things, and I literally thought I had downloaded the wrong document. And I thought that it was late and I couldn't read the number right, because that first digit, um 1 2 3, there was 6 digits, and the first one was a different number. I've never seen that number be that digit before, ever in my life. And uh, I was going, like, because for me, for our family, my wife quit her job about 7 months ago, and with her full-time job and my coaching practice, it was more than that by a lot. And so she used to make 45,000 a year. And so we had to make up for the $45,000 loss with her coming home. And it quite honestly, it did that. It did that by a long shot. So I wonder the only difference between me and all of you guys is I've just talked to more people than you have. Do you think about that reality? I mean, I heard Brian Drollinger say that, and I thought about that for about the last 5 years. What do you think the depth of that comment means? I mean, what happens as you talk to more people? There's a few things that happen.
You hone your skills so you retain and close more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I talk to more people, I'll get more no's, but I'll get more yeses. And I'll actually learn from the no's more because I'm getting more no's. So I end up learning how to get more yeses or more not yets. Mm-hmm. And you find more people that are ready now versus we are ready someday. Yeah. And I mean, think about this. If you just began to just talk to 2 more people a day, I'm not saying talk to them about health. I'm just saying literally, hello, hey, I noticed you. Tell me about what you love about the world. Whatever. Just starting that conversation. And I'm wondering too, I'm really kind of beside myself tonight because I think I want each one of you guys to be very successful. I want you to experience some of the blessings of having a team. You guys are so much fun to work with. And I think of some of you, and when you hear talk like this, there's something in your brain that says, that's too big. That's too scary. What if you fail? Or well, you just don't know that many people. Or I don't know what the voice is, but it's probably a lot of things. People say, well, I talked to somebody and I did an interview. What would blow your mind as far as income? And they said $100,000 a month. But most people won't say a number like that because it's kind of, and by the way, you say a number like that and it's not going to happen tomorrow. Just let you, it's not going to happen in a month from now. It's not even going to happen in a year from now, probably. But what if you worked at something for 5 years? I mean, worked at it. You worked at helping people, honing your skills, setting people free, giving people an opportunity to have some vision in their life, to make a difference, to make money with coaching, to invest in some things that are really important to them. And you did that for 3, maybe 5 years. And you helped a lot of people. And one of the ways that you would be a representation of that is your monthly check had 6 digits on it. I'm just saying, what if? I don't know. Here's another thing. I was talking to another guy who's going to be joining us soon, and he said, "I don't need that much money. I make a pretty good living." And I said, "Why are you making this about you?" Think about that. He has plenty of money for himself. Tell me about the hospital you're building with the extra. Tell me about the car, like you just went and blessed a single mom with a new car. Tell me about the abundance of what you do spilling over into other people's lives because it can. Have you thought that? Have you guys, I don't know, it's hard to think this big, and it's hard for me to think this big. And then I saw, like, a government document that had way more digits on it than I've ever seen before. And I thought, oh, you're like 2 or 3 people away of finding them and letting them see this be something really, like, they come alongside you and they're like, let's run. I hope you can keep up. I've got a dent I want to make in the world, a healthy dent. Think of it. I want to be able to buy wheelchairs for wheelchair sports camp and just send like 50 grand worth of wheelchairs somewhere. Or, I mean, I don't know what it is for you, but yeah, I see homeless people that are in wheelchairs that have no cushions. And quite a few of you guys are on wheelchairs, and it's horrible. I mean, I have to be really careful, and I'm not homeless by any stretch. Imagine being able to buy nice cushions and going and giving to the homeless people so that paralyzed homeless people. I mean, I don't know. That's something more personal to me, but people that have extra do stuff like that, and Optavia can give you extra, like a lot extra. And it's not because you're stealing from anybody. Each one of those people, their life got better in the process. Is that making any? I don't know. Maybe just let that sit for a little while, because there's no reason why you can't build that from right where you are. And it'll take some courage, and it'll take some decisions. You'll get a little uncomfortable, but it'll just start to build. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? What is that? Dawn, do you have oh, go ahead. Hi, Eileen.
Hey, Craig. Yeah, I didn't want to burst your bubble there. You were on a roll. I mean, I got to start small because that's where you're at. But where I'm at is just dreaming of helping a couple people get to their optimal health and help them get off of medications or whatever, just helping them get healthy. And once I see that hope glimmer, then you multiply it by 1 times 2 times 3, and then the blessing would be the additional income. So that's kind of like the icing on the cake. Mm-hmm. Because honestly, I'll be honest, I was doing it for the income, but I'm realizing now how important it is, because the lives that are affected could be a whole lot stronger than just money, because people are thinking, oh, it's expensive kind of thing. But if they're thinking in terms of they're getting healthier and they can be that shining light for somebody else who has no hope, then it's kind of like you're passing the light. You're passing this light that can't be kept under a bushel. Then the money is just an added spark. Yeah, because honestly, that's an incentive. It really is an incentive.
Well, and actually what I see there too, and thank you, Eileen, is it's actually not one or the other.
Right.
If you chase the money only, that's not what Optavia is. And hear me, if you chase the health only, that's also not what Optavia is. Because healthy finances change the world. So does healthy lives. It's body, mind, and finances. It's not body and a little bit of mind. That's not what Optavia is. So I just want to encourage you guys that, I'm not saying you need to dream for $100,000 a month. That's way more money than any of us need. I mean, $30,000 a month is more money than I need. $20,000 is more than I need. But if I'm making $30 or $50 or $100,000 a month, the whole point is it is more than I need. It's actually more than I really want. But because of what Optavia has taught me about how to be as a human, I don't blow that on Porsches and Bugattis and boats and blah, blah, blahs, right? because of who we become as people, that kind of blessing in the hands of a transformational leader does big things. I mean, Kevin and Becca Tinter, they go to pregnancy resource centers and buy ultrasound machines and then give them to them as gifts. How do you like them apples? Right? Poor people don't do stuff like that, by the way. That's what I was being. I mean, if you want to be poor, it's whatever, right? You can be poor in a lot of ways. But people that have more than they need go buy ultrasounds and literally make a difference to life. I don't know about you. If that gets you excited, great. If wheelchair cushions to homeless people get you excited, awesome. I don't know what it is for you. But think about it. Maybe it's 5,000 a month would just turn your world on its head. Maybe it's 200 or 500. I don't know about you, but $500 to $1,000 a month can save someone's home.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say, Craig, is, I got to start out small. And I'm sure at some point you started out small, is just getting yourself healthy. And I do agree about having a balance in everything, your mental, your spiritual, your financial. But if we could just dig out, some of us, if we could just dig out of our own debt and not have to, I get tired of living from paycheck to paycheck. So once if I can get my finances, and once I can get that into a healthy, healthy place, then yes, I would love to bless others.
Well, so here's the deal, Eileen, with you, is in order for you to become the kind of person that can make that kind of money, you can't stay your current version of Eileen. I don't know if you guys realize, but your pocketbook, the way that your pocketbook is currently constructed, couldn't handle that kind of money. You don't have the skills yet. So you'll have to become the kind of person that can then be able to do that kind of thing in order to earn that kind of stuff. And I tell you what, for me, I always thought big, but my big changed. I didn't think small ever. I always thought big. My reality of what big was expanded. And I will tell you, this is epiphany for me. I was just waiting till I first wanted to get mine, and I wanted to know that I was okay. And then I didn't care if I could help anybody else really get that. A lot of people that are very wealthy are wealthy for themselves, but the way that they got wealthy, they can't transfer that to anybody else's wealth at all. A wealthy presidential director has helped many, many people turn skill sets into changing lives, and has become very healthy, wealthy, and wise, quite frankly. So I'm just trying to expand your mind, because Optavia is going, this train is leaving, it's going around the world. And now we've got a new habits of health system. And I've been going through it. I'm about halfway through the life book, and it's remarkable. It's the best I've seen. Remarkable. Then I haven't even seen the Habits of Health book yet, but that's coming, right? And then there's an app that helps us to coach people, because it reports back to us and it reports back to them. So coaching is going to be so state of the art. Like it's going to be like a real system. It's a real system now, but there's a lot of little nudges and pushes and touches and little things to kind of make it work. And we know that. And a lot of this is going to be, a lot of it is just going to be set up. But you have to master the relationship. You have to master the hello. Are you too afraid? Can you do that? Can you master the hello? Tell me about you. Let's do something cool together. Can you master that? I don't know. It's a big ask for some of us. I'm not trying to make it seem small.
Well, I'll give you an example, Craig, is that sometimes I do feel very alone because it's my business. It's whatever I want to make of it. But like, for instance, the 3x3x3, yeah, you can expand it. But sometimes I feel like at a standstill. I feel like I need you or somebody, Alex, to stand over me and say, well, okay, you go from this, you go to this. Because, for instance, I'll give you for instance, like I say, I go to that one 3x3 when you get into a conversation, you like some of their stuff, and then you say, hey, hi, how are you? And then they go, hi, how are you? So it's like we're going back and forth. And what I had to decide the other day, I want to go a little bit beyond, hi, how are you? So I go back. I don't know if it's right or not, but I go back to their Facebook page because I really don't know them. They're a friend of a friend. And then I see what kind of job they do or what kind of likings they have. And I try to get into a conversation that, what is it, Ford? Get into getting to know them. But what the chance I take is there's always a few that says, why do you want to know? Who are you and why do you want to know? And I was like, it's hard.
Yeah. Thank you, Eileen. Yeah, that's great. Christina, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I think that I was having this conversation with a client earlier this evening, and it's like a snowball effect. It's like the healthier you get personally, the healthier that your physical body is, then the healthier your mind starts becoming, and you start working on that healthy mind, and then the finances or whatever follows after that. That's what I've been experiencing on my journey, is the relief of my physical ailments or the burden that I had of being unhealthy has really freed up my mind and my time to be able to focus on other areas of my life. And Optavia and the leaders in Optavia and Craig, that's what they have been teaching us through all of these conversations and these leadership calls and boot camps, is a skill set that when we're at that point, when we're ready for the next layer to peel it back or layer on top of, then we're able to build on that. And so that our why can become bigger. It can become more than just our personal needs and desires and wishes and dreams. Then we can start thinking beyond what's in my world, but what's out there and who else can I impact with my health, because I got healthy, because my mind got healthy and my finances got healthy. Then what's next? That's the next that I think Craig's talking about. And many of us are still in the right now, what focused on ourselves, our business, building our business, getting our healthy finances in order. But I think Craig's asking us to dream beyond that. And some of us, it's harder to bridge that gap. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thank you, Christina. Well, and I'm thinking, what if you don't? What if you don't? I'll still like you if you choose not to dream big, if that even matters. I mean, what am I? I'm just a guy that's coaching for a while, right? But it's okay if you don't dream big, or is it? And I just ask you that. Is it, if I let you off the hook and said, it's okay if you don't dream big, does that piss you off a little bit? Does that bother you that I said that? Right? You don't have to, but let's just think about, if I do, well, this could happen. And if I don't, well, that might happen. And then are you okay with it? And what would make the difference between the dream that you choose and sort of choosing not to dream that way? Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead.
I think that if you don't dream big, you're cheating yourselves. You'll always be asking, what if, what if, what if? And until we take our eyes off of ourself, it's hard to dream big. Once you take your eyes off of yourself, you can only go so far. And that's what I love about this business. You can only go so far with your eyes on yourself. It will cap you.
That is really well said. That is
Once you
really
take
useful.
your eyes off of yourself, then you start growing and you start getting traction and climbing the mountain. And when you get to the top, you haven't arrived. You can just see farther, set a new goal. And every time you reach the top or crest over, you're not arrived. You've just grown that much more and you can see farther.
Yeah, Terry Miller said every time you hit a new peak, PEAK, you get a new PEEK at something bigger. You get a peek at the next thing, and that's just it. So I see a lot of you guys say things, and you make intentions, and then when you look at the actions don't match it, and so I guess I'm just like, what if you did, or what if you looked at, I want to do this, and yet I am doing that. And why won't I make the choice that's in my best interest? I just make a safe choice. So even if you're saying I have all these things I'm going to do, and then we check back in later and you haven't done any of them, well, at least pause and investigate why. Don't just say, well, I'll just get after it again, but stop, breathe, and say, why did I make the promise to do this and then I broke the promise to do that? What gives? And when you figure that out, I mean, what couldn't you do? Dr. A says, if you're afraid, can you do it afraid? I don't know. Be afraid. Okay. I'm not saying don't be afraid, but my question to you is, can you do it even if you're afraid? And a lot of things that have been done in the world, people did very afraid. Actually, a lot of things used to be afraid to me. I'm not afraid anymore about them. But if we can figure out how to do something, do it afraid. If you do it, something happens. If you don't do it, nothing happens. So, Amber, you had something?
Yeah, one thing that I learned is that you should do something poorly until you can learn to do it well. Because if you don't do anything at all, nothing happens.
Yeah, exactly it. Hey, Don Carpenter. This was the first year that you've not coached, and I'm kind of curious about just the perspective of what you dreamed at and how your dream has changed and how you've learned to do things afraid. And just, and I know Kelly's probably, I don't know if he's there, but he's probably got a lot of things he's learning to do afraid. But do you have any thoughts around this? Because you've been doing this for a while.
I have a lot of thoughts, actually, Craig. So, yes, as Craig said, this is my first year not teaching and coaching full-time. And we've seen a lot of growth happen in this year. In fact, we've seen our business double, which has been very exciting. But I guess I come from a perspective where I really struggle with dreaming and thinking big. And I have to say that that's something that has grown gradually in me. And I think what you said, Cassina, was really kind of matches a little bit of my journey, in that I had to get my body on the way to being healthy. I mean, that was I guess maybe it wasn't that I didn't dream big. It's just that my dreams didn't seem big maybe to some people. Because for me, my first big dream was just to get to a healthy weight. I couldn't even imagine that when I started. That was huge for me. And then just to earn a little extra money, to get a few extra things, that was a big dream, and then to earn enough to cover health insurance so I could retire early. That was a really, really big thing. And so my big dreams have really changed over time. And now that we're at a place where my income this year has equaled what I earned as a 29-year veteran teacher with a master's degree. My dreams are starting to grow even bigger. You know, I'm really inspired by the extravagant generosity I see in coaches that, you know, are mentors of ours. And some of that's starting to stir in me, but it's been a gradual process, and it's taken time. And I think, you know, maybe some people are gifted in that way and they can just like dream really big right from the beginning. But for me, it kind of was like a little seed that had to keep growing, and I had to see that, you know, things could happen as I put the work in, you know. I guess that's an important piece not to leave out, is you can't, you know, not plant and not water and not harvest, or you're not going to get anything. So
Thank you. Yeah, and so your dreams have been able to expand as your belief expanded, and I absolutely appreciate that. And what I mean, this is not going to happen without a bunch of work. But if you think about it, what would it look like if I wrote you a check, and I'm going to say a big number, for $30,000, and it showed up? I mean, imagine you go out to your mailbox and there's a check in there, and it has a 3, a 0, comma, 000, and it said month 1, and there'll be another one next month. I mean, and you don't start with 30,000. You start with 500, and then whatever, you know. But one day it's possible, if you would like it, if you could, you know. Walt Disney, it's a famous saying. He said that he spent years dreaming about what Disney World would look like in opening Epcot Center, and he died before it was opened. And then a guy, one of the employees, was standing next to his wife, Walt's wife, and this guy said, "It's too bad Walt's not here to see this." And Walt's wife said, "He saw it, and that's why it's here." Let that sink in a little bit. You know, so what if you started dreaming about something that's not there yet? Maybe it's a quality about you that doesn't exist yet in you. Maybe you're offended more than you want to be. And so you imagine a version of yourself that's unoffendable. If someone pushes your button, instead of trying to make them not push it, what if you took the button away? It's your button. Do what you want with it. I mean, I don't know. These are just ideas. You know, what would it look like if you would be able to work 1 day a month as a dental hygienist, and then you decided even that was too much? Carrie says, yeah, I could tell you all about that. Right? What would it look like if you're a full-time home mom and you get to have like lots of Facebook photos with your kids doing crazy fun things? Because that's just, that's the mom you are. Well, I don't know. So do a little bit of dreaming here. We're just kind of finishing out January, and we've got a lot of year left. And this year can look a lot like last year if you'd like it. It actually probably will, unless you think about a few different things. Next week's probably going to look virtually the same as last week, except for you'll be a week older. It doesn't have to. You know, next month, is it going to look like last month? Or is it going to be a little different? So that's just a couple things to think about, because if you imagine something different and you get a picture of it, then you may only know one thing that you need to do to move closer. You don't know the 100, you know just one. But when you saw it, you could see the one, and so you could do the one, and you can move a little bit closer to it. It's another idea there. So, and just the last I have is just wanted to say is, who's in charge? You know, who's in charge of you? Who determines what you what kind of person you become. I mean, what kind of friend you are, what kind of spouse you are, what kind of mom you are, or sister or brother. You know, think about who determines that. And then if you're the one that determines that, then you can say, well, what would I like it to look like if I could pick? And then figure out, oh, what's the first thing I would need to do to get a little closer? Because it's like you're not going to get to Disneyland in a second. You have to step somewhere, you have to do something, and you just work your way there. And so I just want to really have you guys think about the reality that not only could your life change, but if you invest in your Optavia business, you invest into making a significant dent in the world. Like you bump up against, when Optavia bumps up against the world smiles. Think about that. Think about when we go to these other countries. Think of all the people. Actually, Optavia bumped your life. Did you smile? I just made that up. That was fresh off the press. I'm glad Optavia bumped into my life because my life is different. It's not different. It's better. It's different better. And so who are you going to bump Optavia into? That gives them a chance to have things smile, maybe a few more smiles. Maybe they go to their closet and they turn on the light and they go, everything fits, right? That's a pretty cool picture, right? Or who knows what it is. You get a call in the morning from a friend that says, hey, I got this cool thing. Can you go? And you go, I just got to check my schedule because my body just told me yes. Because you're in shape. You're healthy. You can keep up. You know, or somebody said, I had a friend of mine recently at Christmas time said he wants to give away $25 gift cards. And he said, can you help me out? And I said, you betcha. Because I didn't check my body. I checked my bank account and it said, yep, we can do it. That was awesome. He goes, yeah, I knew you'd say yes because I know you and I know how generous you are. And so he actually split it with me and we had a nice thing. And he went out and blessed some people and gave a bunch of moms some gift cards, you know. And what is it? What's it look like to do stuff like that? So, all right. So we're finishing up this Friday. We're launching a new system. So we always thought, what if we had a system to teach you how to coach that was as locked down as the 5-in-1? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, we have it, right? So they're going to teach you how to get to senior coach. Start and get to senior coach. It launches Friday, February 1st. This has been a personal dream of David and Terry Miller. This is their brainchild. It wouldn't be happening yet for them. So I just want you all to know I was just thinking about this today because Terry's having some significant health issues. And we were talking about those last week. And I thought, what if the world didn't have Terry and David Miller? And I thought about that for a second. I thought, I don't know that there's anybody that could fill their shoes. I actually thought about that. I thought, I don't know of any leader in Optavia that's like Terry and David. I just don't know them. I don't know I don't know if there could be shoes anybody could fill those shoes. And I just thought how blessed we are, you know, that we get to connect with her and and Terry wasn't always the Terry she is today. She's upgraded like big time. I met her 8 years ago. She's different. She's better. And so think about that. Who in 8 years is somebody going to say that about you? That, oh my goodness, I knew Angie 8 years ago. Angie 8.0 is killing it. Right? Lynette or Lynn Ann, right? You think about Lynn Ann. Yeah, Lynn Ann, man, I met you 3 years ago. You're different today. And who do you want to be? What's it going to look like? So we got a new system that's launching on Friday. The Habits of Health system is really going to do it. And he said it'll allow you to go from a good choice to the choice that's in your best interest. And that's what we're going to be able to help people do, not just with their body, but we're not going to leave that out, by the way. Right? So we'll include your health too. We'll bring it along for the ride. But if it can't stop there, or it just is such a disservice. Because you can help somebody get healthy. You can help a mom get healthy. You can bring her home to raise her children. Being healthy is cool. Being a stay-at-home mom that actually parents, that changes the world. How about a stay-at-home dad? How about a marriage that's so healthy because they're financially not running out of money at the end of the month, that they stay married? And so the children grow up with a dad and a mom. Do you know that that's overwhelmingly like one of the simple keys to success? And financial burdens are what ruin marriage more than anything else. I hope you see that the 5-in-1 is just like a little trickle of what Optavia has. It can bump against the world and leave a nice dent, a nice healthy dent. And do you realize that it all starts with you learning to say hello more often, learning how to pay attention? I mean, think of how silly that is. You going out of your way to invest, check on people and to care about people and to be inspirational, to share your successes. So, and that's where this whole thing starts. And then the world gets kind of tilted in a nice way. So I wasn't planning on going that deep today, but I was just really besides myself with the blessings, the mental, relational, emotional, financial, physical, all the different blessings that have come along. And I just want to encourage you guys. I think about you guys all the time. And I think about, why not that person? I think about, why not Deborah? Really, I think about, why not Amy? I do. I think about you two a lot. Linnann, I thought about you a crap ton today. Seriously. And Pam, I'm thinking, Pam, man, she's got this fire for people. But she's working it out because of some history and, you know, the wheelchair thing and the insurance thing and all these sort of things that kind of keep a governor on your life. And I'm like, Pam, let's get that off of you and let's get you out there. The world needs to meet you, Pam. I'm just saying it. So anyway, and Mandy, I mean, Mandy's here. She's on pause, but Mandy, wait till if you haven't met Mandy, you've got to meet Mandy. She's like this bundle of joy with always smiles, and she's working it out. She's cleaning houses for other people. And one day she's going to hire people to clean her house. She's going to treat them well. If she wants to, of course. So I'm going to just give 5 minutes, and we're going to finish at 4 minutes. We're going to finish a quarter after. But what do you guys have any, maybe somebody, I know a few of you like to share a lot. So for those of you that love to share, if you can just hold back. And I'm curious, Amy, Barry, actually, what's going through your mind? What does that look like? Can you unmute yourself too? Yeah, there you go.
How do I do this?
Now I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Oh, all right. Ask me the question again.
Well, I've been talking for a half an hour just about the idea of what if, and if you thought about dreaming big and what it would mean. I mean, is this getting into you at all?
Well, I'll tell you, I love doing this, but it's a little time consuming with 8 children.
Whoops. Yeah, 8 children.
I have my plate full with 4 people.
Yeah.
And I call them and talk to them, keep in touch with them. And if somebody else gets dropped on my plate, then that will be fine. But I can't really go out and look for it at this point. So I guess I'm kind of a recreational coach, but I love it. I love the results, love everything. So eventually, I'd like to do more. So this is a good warm up for me.
Well, thank you, Amy. Appreciate that. Yeah. And there are some coaches that have adopted. Gina Eccles has adopted like 5 kids. She has 9 kids. You know, and think of it, the lifestyle that Optavia it affords feeding that many kids, but also having help and doing a lot of good in the world. I mean, and there's a number of coaches that have lots and lots of kids, and it's just a thing, you know. So anybody want to just sort of, you have anything did I challenge your thought processes? Did I help you to ask the question, why not me? And how can I get out of my own way? Or I don't know. Maybe I'm just out there. I'm a little crazy. I could be. What about you, Angie? Actually, I work with you quite closely, and I'm really curious about your feedback on that. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I don't think you're crazy. um, my brain is sort of like one
Yeah, well,
in a good way. So
that's good. That's exactly what I was actually looking for.
yeah, kind of challenged and excited and scared and sort of
You know what? You actually said exactly what I was looking for. Seriously, no. All of that was yes and amen. Exactly. Thank you, actually, for that. Because you think about this, your dreams, they should thrill you and scare you. Both. If they only scare you, they're not dreams. Those are my nightmares, by the way. And if they only thrill you, it may not be that challenging. Right? And so there's a happy medium there that's appropriate. And thank you, actually. I mean, enough said. I think you nailed it. Yeah, just think about what does it look like? So literally a lot of these things start with learning to manage yourself. You make an appointment with yourself, you figure out what would success look like. You make an appointment with yourself, and then you just start keeping it. The first appointment that you can make with yourself every day is when you set your alarm to get up. It goes off and you get up. If you hit the snooze, that's 1.0 version of you. 2.0 version does not snooze ever. Keep that first appointment with yourself out of respect. If you want to wait 5 minutes to get up, just set the alarm for 5 minutes later. But when it goes off, that's your first appointment and you get up. You just do it because that's who you are. That's the simplest way that everybody in the world does every day. The first appointment is when it's time to get up. Do you follow through, or do you call it in sick, or do you pause, or do you wait? So anyway, start with that little thing and start trusting yourself that you're going to follow through and that you're going to do what you said. You're going to keep your promises to yourself. And I know that sounds really childish, but I'm telling you, that is so powerful. So, all right, you guys. Well, thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I'm actually, I'd love for you to ponder this a little bit. And if you could do one thing, I have one little, and this will be freaking scary, but I'm going to ask you to do something that's scary. It's going to involve a pen. And this pen is about to weigh 4 million pounds. I just want you to know that. It's about to get heavy. And some of you won't pick it up because it's heavy. And I'm telling you, I ask people to do this particular exercise all the time, and about 1 in 50 do it. It's this little pen. It's not it just gets heavy. It's to take some time. Angie's doing this right now, by the way. Angie, you're the one. It's you. It's hard. Look at her. She's like, it's hard. She's doing it. And oh my goodness, Angie, when I get that text from you and the little picture of you doing it, I'm like, Angie's contending. She's going to do it. But you just take in a pen to paper and you write a paragraph about what I just talked about today. What do your dreams look like? Well, that's scary to write about my dreams. I know, but write about them scared. Just pick the pen up. I wouldn't know what to write. Start with, I'm not sure what to write. Just start there and just let your pen kind of work it out. And you'll see, just start dreaming and letting it flow out through your pen. I find that 5 minutes is never enough. When I get started, I'm like, oh man, like I'm loving this. Because it's one of the few ways in your life that you can observe your thoughts. You can stop and you can sit back and you can observe your thoughts. And powerful things happen when you think about what you think about. So if you guys would jot down a few things, maybe you'll take a snapshot, throw them in our group chat, or throw them up on the Optimal Health Coach page. Just think about a little bit about your dreams, what it would look like. Just write about what this conversation. Do you have excuses? Write about all the excuses that you're pissed off about that you have because of whatever. But spend some time, at least 5 minutes, writing about what if. About what if you were Optavia and you bumped into a bunch of stuff and it smiled back at you. Now that's the assignment. What if? What would it look like? And just see where it goes from there. So if you guys will write that down, that's your first assignment. If you're bold enough to post it, I'm telling you what, it will serve you, and your future self will say, man, that was a quality decision. I'm so glad I did that. All right, you guys. I'm rooting for you. I really am. And I just hope you guys will do this for your sake and then for the people you bump into, because their lives will be different. So thank you all for the work you're doing. Have a good night.